Hi, welcome to Board Game Express. Today we're going to rules blitz Kingsburg. Now, Kingsburg is a dice worker placement game where you're going to influence advisors to get resources, to build buildings, to earn the points. So let's talk about how to play. Each of the years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is going to work the same way. There are going to be 8 phases, and you're going to execute them and then go to the following year. So, phase 1 is a sort of a bureaucracy check. So whoever has the fewest buildings built, and if there's a tie, it's whoever has the fewest spare resources, is going to be able to roll an extra die in the following phase. Now, if there's a tie, more than one player, then instead of getting the free die, everybody gets to choose one free resource. Now notice that this is actually the first thing that happens not just each year, but it's the first thing that happens in the game. So at the beginning of the game, players aren't going to have any resources or points, so everybody's simply going to be tied and gain one resource. Now, phase 2 is the first of what's called the productive seasons, and each of the 3 productive seasons, spring, summer, and autumn, work the same way. Players are going to roll the dice, and then you're going to count up, and turn order is determined by whoever rolled the lowest total. So it looks like blue has 7 and it would be going first. Green has 10 over here, goes second, and red got a nice roll, 15, and will go last. From here, players will then use at least one of their own colored at a time to claim these advisors. So blue, for example, could place 1 die on the 1, or he can put 2 together, a 4 and a 1, to go on the 5 spot, or he can even put all 3 dice together to go on the 7 spot, your choice. And when it is a competitive game, so when is your time to place, it is possible that all the spots that you're allowed to go are taken, and in that case, I'm afraid you're out of luck. That worker will not be used. So let's say blue goes here, then green goes second, then let's say he goes here, and then blue is going to say, I'll take that, green is going to take that, and then red will take that. Alright, so from here, you take all the resources that you collected. So the 6th spot is a swap spot, trade 1 resource for the other 2. And space 7 includes what is called a +2 token, or a +2 chip. Now, in the future, after you've earned these, a +2 chip can be used with any single dice placement, once per season though, so you can't do 2 in a single season. And that will boost the value by exactly 2. Can't use it as a +1. So for example, if red had 1 earlier, he could use that with his 11 rolled and go on the 13 spot with that chip. So that's what that chip is for. Now, once everyone has collected, take all your workers home, and then everyone will be allowed to build 1 building maximum. To build buildings, you pay the resources printed. You will gain the effect immediately. When you're starting off, you must build from the left. You can choose any of the 5 rows you want, but then you have to build the very first building on the left. Now, once you've built a leftmost building in column 1, then if you choose to build in that row again in the future, you can go to 2, etc., etc. Now, once everyone has built, that concludes the productive seasons. Phase 3, you'll see a little plus sign here, is whoever has the most buildings at this point. Ties are friendly. Everyone will gain 1 victory point from the king, who is looking around and being impressed. Very commonly in the first turn, everyone's going to build 1 building and score a point here. Phase 4 is the summer productive season, so it works just like the spring. Phase 5 is the king's envoy. The king will look around, see who has the fewest buildings, and if there's a tie, the fewest spare resources. And if there is 1 and only 1 person, that person's going to earn the king's envoy. The king's envoy can do one of 2 things. First thing it can do is, if you are blocked from an action space, it will allow you to influence the advisor. Now, you will be allowed to do that with the king's envoy, either for your own die or for someone else, whichever. If you don't want to use it for that, then the other thing you can do is during the build phase, you are allowed to build 2 buildings in one shot if you have enough resources to pay for them. So it's a little bit of a catch-up mechanic. Now, you can only use this during that cycle of a year. If you make it back to phase 5 of the next year and you haven't used it, you simply lose the privilege. All right, Phase 6, that's going to be the autumn productive season, same as before. And finally, Phase 7, this is the soldier phase or the mercenary phase right before the combat. Players here can choose to buy additional soldier points at 2 resources per, little pricey, but this is your last chance to boost your combat ability before the monster of the year is flipped. Now, the king is going to help everyone out and roll a die during combat, and a 1. So the king is going to add 1 strength to every player, and then you will flip the card. So goblins have attacked. The goblin strength is listed in the corner. If a player beats the goblin strength, they will get the bonus listed. If you fall short, you will suffer the penalty listed below, and if you are tied, it's a push, nothing happens. Now, quick note, if you lose a building as a result of losing to the monster, you must destroy the building furthest to the right that you have built. And if there's a tie, you have to remove the building closest to the top. So that can be a very harsh penalty. And finally, after beating the monsters, out of all the players who beat the monster, whoever has the highest total soldier strength at that time gains 1 victory point. Friendly ties again. Everyone gets it. So go ahead and discard the monster of the year. Go ahead and choose a new one from the next year and set up for the following year. And rinse and repeat for a total of 5 years, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points is the winner. Now you know how to play Kingsburg.